Fujifilm Canada again, and
I'm Billy Luong, and together
we're the FujiGuys. So welcome back to our series on videos on the F200 camera. This video is called The First Look, and this is basically just an overview of all the controls on the cameras, and then in the future videos the basic and advanced functions of the cameras will go into greater detail about what each and all those controls and menus can do for you. So Billy, take her away.
Thank you very much, Greg. So let's take a look at the side of the camera first. And as you see, there's a little compartment on the side. We're going to open that little piece up, and it actually reveals the video cable as well as the USB connection. Again, like we mentioned earlier, this cable is a one dual-purpose cable.
Hold it up there, Billy. This was when we went through the out-of-the-box section. Billy showed you this cable. Plugs in the side there. This connection is when you put it to your computer for downloading pictures. These two connections here are for when you want to show your pictures or your movies on your television at home.
That's great. Now this camera does have an optional HD component cable that you can purchase separately if you do have a high definition cable TV. As well as you can see on the side of the same look, we have the, I guess, little notch there that goes for the strap.
The camera strap, yeah.
Of course, it gets a little tricky, so we already have one that's all set up. Great little strap. You put your hands here, you tie it up, and the camera's not going anywhere. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Okay, and let's take a look at the bottom of the camera. So if we take a look at the bottom, you can see there's the tripod mount. Okay, right beside it is the speaker, so that when you play back videos or whatnot, you can hear the sound coming from the camera itself. There is the battery door, and this is exactly where you can find the serial number of the camera. So if you do have any warranty questions, where they do ask about the serial, this is where you'll find it. Okay, so let's take a look at inside the battery cover. All you have to do is slide it open, and it flips open. And of course, there's two different slots there. So Greg, I think we had the batteries charged earlier. So let's take a look at those batteries now.
I'll give you the one right from the battery charger here,
That's
Billy.
perfect, Greg. So we charged this battery for about 2.5 hours now, so it should be fully charged. And if we take a look at the batteries itself, you can see that there's a orange little stripe going down the side of the batteries. And we take a look at the camera itself, it also has a little orange little tab there. So if we line that up and we place the batteries in, that's exactly how it should go in. So again, I'm just going to show you. And it should just clip in place. So the batteries are nice and secure. And if we want to just take the batteries out, we just have to flip that open. And the batteries are now out of the camera. Okay, so we'll put that back in. And the second thing that we want to do when we buy a camera, of course, is to buy a memory card. The F200, I think, uses two different type of cards, Greg?
That's right. Basically, Fuji and Olympus invented this format called XD. And XD is a smaller card. Their capacities are available up to 2 gigabytes. And certainly this F200 still uses and can read these cards, but it also uses the more popular SD, S as in Sam D. And these cards are available in even higher capacity. Currently, right now, maybe up to about 16 gigabytes, but as you're watching this video, they may have come out with a 32 gig version. But anyways, these are the more common format. They also tend to be a little bit less expensive. So again, the benefit is whether you have some of the old XD or some of the new SD cards, this camera accepts both.
And it also takes the SDHC cards, the high capacity cards. So for this demo, we're just going to actually just pick up the standard SD cards. For a lot of the viewers here, I'm sure this is readily available and probably the more popular choice. So again, we'll slide the battery door open, which reveals the slot for the memory cards. If we take a look at the SD card, you can see there's sort of gold contacts on the back of that. If we take a look at the actual camera itself, there's also a gold sticker there. So we want to match them to face each other. So when we have that and we place that in, it just clips right in, okay? If we want to take and eject the card, all we have to do is push in again, and it comes right out for us. So that's a simple little trick. I'll put that in. Okay, so let's take a look at the front view of the camera. So I'm just going to hold the camera up for the camera quickly there. In the front of the camera, there actually is the flash, which is very close to the shutter button. So again, when you're taking pictures, I think we should be very careful to not have your fingers covering the flash.
A very good tip, Billy.
And we also have the AF assist lamp, Greg, which is great for what?
Well, when you're taking pictures with a flash in low light, or without a flash in low light for that matter, sometimes cameras have a hard time focusing in low light. So that little AF assist lamp allows this camera to focus more accurately and quite honestly more quickly when the light is pretty poor in the room.
Great, and it also helps as a self-timer. So you have the camera on the self-timer mode. When it gets down to about 5 seconds, it starts blinking 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's a little warning light.
You're sort of ready to shoot. Okay, taking a look back at the camera, we can see there's a microphone slot at the bottom, I guess, left of the lens. And of course, the big hunker right there is the lens itself. It's a Fuji 5x zoom, Greg.
I love the lens on this camera. After personally using the F200 a lot, I mean, the best thing is that it, as Billy says, it's a 5x, not a 3x, so I've got a wider range. More importantly, it starts at 28mm, which gives me a nice wide-angle view, great for groups and scenery pictures. For all I know, it's one of the key reasons why you picked this camera to buy as well, because I just love the range on this zoom. It just allows for so much creative photography.
Great, Greg. Okay, so let's take a look at the back of the camera now. So as you can see on the back, this year the F200 has a 3-inch LCD screen. Very, very bright, very high res. Okay, there's also a mode dial, so if you want to quickly change the different modes on the cameras, you can dial that into it. We will talk in future videos about each mode and what it does. We also have the playback button. You push that button, you'll actually look at your images that's taken on the camera, so I don't have any images here, of course. I'm just going to turn that off. We have the F button, and that's a quick action button to access things like, ISOs and image qualities and also image size. There's a directional pad. This is something that you'll be using often on the camera. You can navigate through the menus by pushing up, down, left, or right. It also acts as a way to navigate through your images as well when you have the images played back. In between that is also a menu OK button. That's sort of like the enter key on your keyboard. So when you push that button, you're either confirming, deleting an image or confirming an action that you want to take with the camera itself. It also gives you access to the menu by pushing it one time. Quickly, 2 last buttons on the back. The face detection button, you can turn that feature on and off. It also toggles the red eye removal feature, which is great. If you're taking a lot of pictures of kids or anyone in low light, that automatically removes the red eye from the subject. And of course the display button, so that you can toggle between changing the way the LCD screen looks. If you don't want to have any text on that, you can just push it and it disappears, okay? So that's the back of the camera. One last thing, I guess, is the top view of the camera, and that's, basically when you get the camera, you want to turn it on and off. That's where the on and off switch is. You push that button, and the camera turns on. If we push it one more time, it turns off again. There's also the shutter button that's in between right here, and then we have the zoom button that you can zoom in and shoot a wider shot by zooming out on that. And I guess, Greg, you want to give a little tip on the shutter button? How that works?
I see a lot of people these days taking pictures with their digital cameras, and it's just they're hitting the shutter button as opposed to what I would call squeezing the shutter button. And I think it's important for digital cameras of every make and every model. This is a general tip, but particularly important when you want to take great pictures, is make sure you just press that button down part way first. That allows the camera to do all of its auto-focusing functions, auto-exposure functions, and maybe even auto-scene recognitions and other automatic functions. But if you really want to get the most out of your automatic camera, just take that extra little care to depress the button first a little bit and then press it all the way down to take your pictures. All of our cameras, as you know, Billy, have a little beeping noise that will tell me or assure me that once I've pressed the camera down that the camera's finished doing all of its brain work and it's okay to take the picture. But I just see so many people get bad pictures because they don't take that extra time to press the shutter, so I just want to mention that now.
Well, that's a quick look at the cameras again. Greg?
Yeah, Billy, that was a great job, and do remember in the future videos we will go into much greater detail as far as what those buttons and menus and everything, all those things that Billy told you about. So until then, I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys. So we'll see you next video.